Hey everyone, welcome to the Sequoia Project Podcast, the podcast dedicated to the ins, outs, and everything in between of business. My name's Coby, and I'm dedicated. I'm here with my host, Dale. Say hi.
Hey guys.
That was great. It was going so well until towards the end of that, but it's fine.
That's all right. I think that we should let everyone know we actually recorded this podcast once already, and we're actually already practiced all of this because we fucked up the recording.
Exactly.
So yeah, we should be smooth, we should be well polished, but we're just gonna roll with it. I think
What
that's the
should
best
just
way
be
to go.
worse?
No, it'll be good. Anyway, so I guess let's run this again. Let's run this thing back.
This is the
whole point.
official episode 1 now.
This is official episode 1, with just a minor dress rehearsal beforehand. But,
Exactly.
yeah, basically the podcast. Well, you introduced the podcast. What's the podcast, Coby? What are we doing?
So this podcast is based around business, everything in business, keeping it fun, light, as all business should be, and pretty much allowing people to get information out there, the right information, pretty much in one solid place that's coming from your experience, my experience, pretty much everything we need to know from all of our mistakes that we've made and actually putting it out there into the world so people don't have to make the same mistakes that we did.
Yeah, 100%. So that's basically the go. That what we have off the back of this is the Sequoia Project itself. So this is the Sequoia Project Podcast, and that's a project that I've been working on for the last 2 years. That's how me and Coby actually met. And that project is basically all about just taking everything I've learned in business over the last 7 years and helping as many small businesses and even large businesses as well as possible, just to make sure that it's not as hard on them as it was on me. And a lot of people struggle in business. Is very stressful. A lot of people
Absolutely.
have a lot of problems in business, and business and personal it's everyone's busy all the time. So we're just trying to make it a little bit easier if we can. We've helped over 650 businesses worldwide now to this point. Our goal is to get to 1,000. So this is just one more way that we might be able to encourage someone to start that business, grow that business, or make business a little bit easier for them in their lives. But I think what we'll do, we might just kick it off with you, Cobes. Let's introduce you. Let everyone know who you are, how you got here, and then we'll do me after that.
Beautiful start on my end. So obviously my name is Coby. I currently run a business called CE Media. Initially, the business started in photography. Basically, my story is I've been pretty much hardworking for a lot of my life. The moment that I was able to work, I've been working just casual jobs, everything up until I turned 18, worked 3 jobs in both local delivery, all local delivery driving, tomato picking in the mornings, as well as just supermarket work, until eventually I developed a passion into the fitness industry, went studying my certificate 3 in fitness and started working full time in a gym. Had a pretty bad experience when I was working that. Management was awful, super wasn't being paid at some points. There was a lot of staff turnover. It was just kind of not a great environment up until I got offered management at another gym. And that was when I sort of developed a bit of a passion around the sort of management side of things, building a team, having staff, that sort of stuff, while also still studying in my certificate 3. Got certified in that, and then went on to kind of building a system for that gym where it was very kind of ran itself, and I had a team that was able to be relied on, and decided to go and learn a little bit about the business side. From there, I went into a bit of e-commerce, doing a couple of courses, doing pretty much everything I can, and then was almost out, I want to say around 10 grand just through this e-commerce course, trying to learn everything around like the advertising side of it, and then getting products on there, and then pretty much everything around that. I think that was around the point that I met you on Facebook through just a simple post, pretty much saying that you had a lot of time and wanted to get out there, test your idea around doing like helping other people start their own businesses and sort of giving that advice around that sort of side. I reached out to you, let you know that there was something that I was looking to do into business. I think you and I looked at the first thing that we looked at was actually going into selling some personal training sort of stuff. So I had a product there, which was a personal training program. It automatically calculated your macros. all your calories, that sort of stuff, had a program there, and it was separated between males and females. We threw that idea out online and just into local groups, and it didn't catch, which was something that we kind of realized that we needed to switch. We're still running the e-commerce at that time as well. And while I was doing everything that I sort of was meant to do around it, it wasn't going anywhere. I was talking to you around it. I was trying to see what kind of things we can do to improve. We were following the course, throwing pretty much everything at the wall and trying to see what was going to stick, and nothing stuck. To a point where towards the end we got pretty screwed over because of just terms and conditions and just the way that business was ran. And that was when you told me pretty much to go home, list literally everything that I have in my room, and we'll sort of go from there. And that was when I told you I had a camera that I bought for like $200 off a friend a few years prior. And you just said, go learn, like do anything you can around that. I went, took photos of absolutely anything and everything. Even forced my partner to go out and do some free shoots with me up until I got throwing on Facebook, just looking to do some free shoots to learn. And I got my first paid gig. It was $50 and I worked 3 hours for it in the video side that I've never done. But I 100% went, yep, I can do that. That is definitely something I could do, and spent most of my nights Googling prior to doing it and learning what settings on the cameras do. It was a real old Lumix camera, which I actually broke last year during one of the jobs. But yeah, so went into photography, started doing weddings. I ended up getting my first wedding, which was $500 for a full day, which felt just absolutely insane. I mean, $500 earned for yourself is such a crazy experience, especially when like you haven't had that before. You're just like earning money for someone else and getting paid your regular wage, just to see that 500 come in just from one job, and someone like wanting to support your passion and talents was just crazy. It was surreal, extremely surreal. From there, we decided to start a project just online to help try and get a bit more clients and try and, highlight a bit of people within the community that we were talking to, called Hometown Heroes. Within the first month of that, it ended up growing to nearly 1,000 followers. We had plenty of like local people on, and it ended up getting picked up by ABC Radio. They reached out for a interview and wanted to talk around everything that was the overall project behind it, the thoughts behind it, sort of how it come about. And at that time, it come about just from you and I talking about what potential projects there were. But apparently there was a photo blog already existing in New York called like the Humans of New York or something.
Yeah, and the surprising thing about that is that we had never even heard of that.
No, we found out after, like they, when they'd introduced it on the radio, actually, they said inspired by photo blog of Humans of New York. And as soon as they said it, I was like, okay.
We don't even know what that means.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, well, if you say so, that's not the inspiration. It was just ideas bouncing back and forth. But I mean, if people have done it, it's not like it was an original concept by any means.
No, we were just trying to make something fresh,
Yeah, but I mean, apparently it was inspired by that. So there's that. We even had, after that initial ABC radio, which I don't think I ended up talking to you about, they invited me back to talk about the social media ban that was going on last year.
Oh, you did mention that.
Yeah. Which was really interesting. As someone, I mean, the way they saw it is someone who's a lot of my job is based around social media, and everything I was doing at that time was that positive impact on social media. So they wanted that kind of side of it to actually speak on that. It was interesting. It was definitely something that it was like a controversial topic, and just getting some 22-year-old kid on there to talk about it was really weird. But it was good.
Sure.
Like, it was definitely an experience. After that, it was picked up by, I think it was Sunrise first.
Sunrise and then Today Show.
Yep. So we jumped on Sunrise, just similar to this, jumped on like a Zoom meeting, and they asked questions about it. All of this is available online if you want to see how great I did on camera. And then after the Sunrise interview, the Today Show reached out and asked for me to come down to Melbourne. straight after the grand final and actually be on the footy grounds and talk to them about the project in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
More like millions, dude. I think the number
Millions
was
of people.
14 million after the
14
grand final.
million people heard me talk about this project. Standing there in the freezing cold. And yeah, just completely chatted. It was such a surreal experience then too. Because, well, I mean, you went there, talked about this kind of project that you did, and everyone's kind of asking you all these questions and like the bigger picture. And then straight after, like, I just went and got a coffee and like waited at the marketplace to go pick up a camera.
The hype, it kind of all simmered down real quick.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, all right, talk to my partner. I'm like, all right, let's go get like a coffee or something. Like, we just went on TV.
Marketplace, didn't you?
Yeah, on Marketplace.
You were going to pick up a new camera.
Yeah, I shot this guy a message. I just went, yeah, like I'm in Melbourne. I can come pick it up today. And then got a coffee, waited at the marketplace, grabbed some snits. Like, didn't even think about how like going from one extreme to another, like being on TV in front of 14 million people and then just going, living your best life, doing the most normal, mundane of things. After that, there was an interview on 3AW Melbourne. Talked on the radio there, just again about the project. And then finally, we finished up from all of my successes here before I keep rubbing them in your face. Was a full page feature or 2-page feature actually in That's Life magazine, which again, surreal.
Yeah,
anything
I think
like that.
I think it's really important too, Codes, there to mention that like this CE Media as a business was probably only like what 4 or 5 months old.
Very young. I mean, we started it in December of 2023. And this all happened early 2024 when we were doing this.
Yeah, which is just nuts. And like I think why it's so important, to kind of get that full version of your story out there for anyone who listens to this, and then listens to it in order, is that you started with like basically, well, I tried a bunch of stuff, and like it wasn't working. We hit something that was working. We started from the bottom. We accepted this role of like, all right, cool. Yeah. Like we need to learn. We need to learn what we need to learn rather than, all right, cool. Like we should just be able to start a business and print profit. We started from there, and then if you have the fundamentals down, and you have a pathway, an idea, and a vision for where you want to go and the kind of person you want to be in business as well, things can happen very quickly. Now, I'm not saying for everyone that starts a business they're going to go from picking up a camera in their bedroom to going on being on the Today Show in 3, 4, 5 months, but it's a really good lesson in real time of like someone who kind of thought, well, none of this is working, to all of a sudden I never thought I would experience anything like this. And I think that's why business is such a cool vehicle, and also why like that story is so great, because there'll probably be someone watching this who is thinking about starting a business and goes, oh well, I don't know how it works. Well, man, neither of us did either. And definitely that story, like Coby didn't even know what was happening 6 months before that. And yeah, you can. There is a way that you can move, especially with the help in the Sequoia Project and things like that, where you just don't have to spend as much time figuring it out as I did. And like again, that's just proof in the pudding. You can go and be on the news and have interviews with millions of people watching and kind of be like, dude, I just started this 6 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't even the first thing we tried as well. It was the personal training side. And then I wanted to go into music, which I don't think we even mentioned last time we tried to record this. Was the first thing we did was trying to build the music scene within Shepparton.
That's right. Yeah, because that was one of your passions. You know a lot of bands and stuff like that around there as well.
Yep, knew a lot of local people and everything. Wanted to try and build that. And then I think the thing that I didn't like was it was so much relying on other people.
Yes.
And that's when we went to let's try and build something that's not so reliant on you waiting for people and waiting for answers and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how it evolved into the photography side, which even then, trying to stay in contact with them to get like photos, test out any gig photos or anything like that. So it's great to have those sort of connections there. We even had some of them featured on the Hometown Heroes, which definitely helped with getting them out there, first of all, as well as just getting kind of the Hometown Heroes thing sort of going.
Yeah, for sure.
From the photography. Sorry, no,
Yep.
you go.
No, no. I was just going to interrupt. I was going to interrupt you anyway. No matter what you said, I was going to just interrupt
Oh
you.
yeah. So don't care what you have to say. I want to talk now. My
Yeah.
turn.
Go nuts, mate. Go nuts. Finish off the intro.
Well, it was just from there we kind of moved away from that photography side, realized that we were pretty good at social media. I mean, if we can do that in a couple of months, like what can we do for other people? Went into that social media management side and worked with a couple of local businesses, and then learned pretty much everything that I could about advertising. I fell in love with that sort of side, fell in love with being able to help other people grow through that sort of factor. Because I don't have a million things to tell you about business, but learning that sort of advertising is going to be something that helps other people grow. And that's when I eventually ended up building that goal to want to help other people grow, to want to help people achieve their goals through the power of marketing, through all that sort of stuff. So that's how it kind of evolved from, I suppose, PT to music to photography to social media. Now running that social media marketing and social media like advertising and everything side.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's a very good lesson. And like, I mean, there's a million details in there that we'll probably end up touching on a lot of them, as we go recording these podcasts and episodes and stuff like that. But probably
Yeah, absolutely.
something that's very important to mention at this point, which we probably should have mentioned like, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. We are trying to keep these down to half an hour. So
Yeah.
we'll be condensing a lot of this information to be to be spread out through the episodes.
Little
as they
bite-sized
go.
pieces.
Yeah, little bite-sized pieces, and it's it just makes it easier to listen to and listen back to,
Absolutely.
if there's a specific thing that you wanted to learn or know. But yeah, I think that the good thing about this episode is that we can kind of get a feel for why we're here and what this podcast is about, and the things that led us up to this point, and then we'll unpack as they go, as the episodes go on,
Yeah.
specific things and specific parts of the journey and stuff like that, because I think our listener will be someone who's either thinking of getting started in business, is in business but is kind of new to it or something like that, or someone that's been in a couple of years and they just want something to listen to where they can maybe drag ideas from or get some inspiration or something like that, or maybe they're struggling with something specific, and we're going to try and tailor all of our stuff to that as well. But the story is important, especially your story, because you're kind of 2 years in business. I'm 7 years in business, so everything that's happened for you in the last 2 years is more relevant to someone who's starting now, because the world's changed a lot in the last 7 years, even since I started.
Absolutely.
And like yourself, like it's something as rapid as like with your with advertising and things like that. Like things change month to month, year to year is
Yeah.
gigantic leaps and bounds. So that's why I think your story is going to be so important in other people's journeys. Is it's just like, cool, it's great to hear it from someone who did it 7 years ago. It's even better to hear that the fundamental things still work 5 years later, and they've been working for the 2 years on top of that as well. So
Yeah.
that's a good intro for Coby. I'm going to keep mine nice and short, because there are many parts of my story that will probably take full episodes to go through. So I'll just keep it nice and sweet for this one. But basically, 7 years in business, very similar actually. Like hearing yours back again. Like we recorded this once, but I'm hearing it back again now. Is just got screwed around by employers. Like
Yep.
before I started anything for myself, I was a structural engineer, and same thing. Got promised the world, didn't get what was promised. Also, got super stolen, all that kind of stuff as well. Seems like a pretty standard playbook. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that listen to this that go, oh, that's kind of exactly how it goes for me as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that from there it was more so of, if I'm going to get screwed over and put all these hours in and stuff like that, I may as well do it myself. And that risk that I'm taking of getting stolen from and lied to, well, I'd rather just have the upside of that as well. That's basically where I started.
Yeah.
So I knew absolutely nothing about business whatsoever, as I've told you, Coby, 100 times. And I needed to figure out something that was simple, but I could focus purely on how business operated, how business worked, rather than the service so much. So I went into waste removal. That's the easiest thing I could think of, and the simplest service I could think of. So I started taking trash from people's houses, and from there we scaled up, we grew and we scaled, and a lot of those lessons, again, this is the shorthand version, we'll go through in more depth in the coming episodes, but a lot of those lessons we used and learned there got us to 4 trucks and 4 operators within 6 months, which meant I could kind of take a step back from the service side of the business and focus on the customer, focus on the businesses. From there, over the next 7 years, we started a property management company, a construction company, vehicle and equipment hire company, and an investment group. And that's basically, we've started, operated, and run that for the last 7 years. We have a team of 50 employees that run everything on the day to day. And then about 3 years ago, I started running that from overseas, and everything was fairly passive. another huge part of the story, which will take a lot longer to dive into than what we have today, is in my third year of business, I was working that hard, doing 100-hour weeks, very, very labor intensive work that I actually
Mm.
broke the bottom part of my spine and lost the feeling in my legs for about 3 months. Had to learn how to walk again, do all that fun stuff. But the idea of the Sequoia Project, once I started traveling, once the businesses were mainly passive or as passive as they could be, and I had a lot more free time, was one, what can I do with this free time? I want it to be meaningful. I
Yeah.
want it to do something. And two, after you sit on enough beaches and drink enough Mai Tais, you kind of lose that passion, that edge that you've been running for the last, years beforehand. So then it was kind of just like, well, I want to do something meaningful. I've got a lot of free time. And I put that post up that Coby spoke about where I said, look, you know, I'm just a guy basically with some free time who's got some experience. If you want some help, then I'll help. And from that post, I got on the phone with 70 people. Kobe being one of them. I spent an hour with each of them, so I spent 70 hours on the phone the next week. And from there, we found out that the information I had was helpful to a lot of people, and things just kind of started to roll forward from that. And it was never the Sequoia Project when it started. It was never
No.
supposed to be anything. It was just supposed to be, I've got some spare time. I'll help some people and see if it is helpful. And then we found out it was. We started the Sequoia Project, and now we've helped over 650 businesses from all over the world. So it's a cool journey. It's definitely been a cool journey, and I've learned a lot about how how information makes a huge difference in people's lives, and now I just think that information should be accessible to everyone. And that's basically where we're at with the project. Help 1,000 people, make the world a little bit better than we found it. Eh, Cobes?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Yeah,
and you're right on the way there. Like you said, over 650 businesses now
yeah.
since starting, what, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, we'll be right on about 2 years.
Look,
Yeah,
that's like nearly a business a day.
yeah. No,
If you think
it's really
about
cool.
it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, and I just think that's it shouldn't take a small business owner or someone who's in business or someone who wants to get into business. It shouldn't take the difference between, just wanting to have some financial freedom, have some more control over the hours you work, all that kind of stuff. Like
Absolutely.
that's a simple and humble goal. Like if you asked anyone, like, who's working in employment or anything like that, like what would you change about your employment? It would be, I want more freedom, spend with my friends and family and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I just want more money so I can not have to worry about where the bills come from. It's
Yeah.
not really a lot to ask for, but it really shouldn't cost, well, at least in my mind now, with the experience I've had, is it shouldn't cost someone their spine to be able to get from one side of that to the other. So,
Absolutely not.
yeah, when we put that initial post out, it was like, look, if we can just help one person not go through what I went through, then that's fantastic. And, I'm not saying that every single business owner that was spoken to would have broken their spine doing it. Sure, that's not how it is. But, if even one of them has had it easier or didn't have to spend as much time learning and making mistakes and trying to figure out the answers to those mistakes as I did, then in 7 years they should be a lot further on from where I am now.
Yeah, or even in my experience, just spending like tens of $10,000 to get
Yeah,
misinformation. Like
and
the
that's a huge thing too. Like, especially for young guys, coming out of high school and stuff like that, then they want to get into a business. That's what there's so many of those out there. You get ads for those 24/7.
absolutely.
So yeah, it's probably even, that's a really good point to bring up, is that not all of these things that are promised, do they pay off? And I think for us, and we're not going to name names or anything like that on this
No,
podcast.
absolutely not.
We're not in the business of dragging anyone else's name through the mud. It's everyone's experience is subjective to their own individual performance and things like
Yeah.
that. But for us, it's more so that just because there is information available doesn't mean it's the right information for you.
No.
And where this kind of hub of information comes from is, we're just trying to keep things really simple, super logical, and generating results, so that if you come across us and you like the way we do things, and you go, oh, cool, like that's exactly what I want. I want something that I can understand. I want something that I can take action on, and I want it to get me a result. Then that might just be the brand for you. And there's tons of people giving good advice out on the internet. I mean, I don't watch YouTube and listen to podcasts as much as I used to when I started my business. But I'm sure there's great people doing it. And I'm not saying don't listen to them, or what we're doing is better or what they're doing is worse. What
Yeah.
I'm just saying is our brand is different. And if it works for you, fantastic. That's great.
Simple and repeatable is kind of our goal there.
Yeah, 100%. We just want everyone to, we just want people, because like I didn't have any, like, I didn't even have a mentor or anything like that I could ask questions
No,
to.
which is
So
crazy.
yeah, a huge thing for me is that I'm self-taught. And back in the day, 7 years ago, I used to think, oh, how hard done by am I? I don't have anyone I could ask questions to. But what I didn't
Yeah.
realize was 7 years later is that I was going to figure out a way to do business that not a lot of people have stumbled upon before. Um, and again, it's not that one's better than the other or one's worse than the other, but it's just different. And a lot of people that we speak to, I like the way that we go about business because it is so simple and it is so logical. It feels like it's very obtainable and very achievable. So that's kind of our whole thing, is that we just don't want to make business complicated. We want to make it as simple as possible so we can have as much fun doing it, so that we don't want to stop doing it and we can do it for a
Yeah.
long time.
I think a matter of business as well is just once you've got something down that works, a lot of the fundamentals, no matter the business you go into, is very, very much similar.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. One thing I can guarantee you is you are going to have to learn all the lessons that we're willing to teach and all the questions that you have to ask. You're going to have to learn that stuff anyway. You cannot be successful at business without understanding the foundational principles that make business what it is.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you. The difference is the length of time it takes to learn them. So
Yeah.
for me, I might have to learn one of those principles. It might take me a year to learn. But if I can help Kobe, for example, that might take him 3 weeks, which is just such a huge amount of time saved, which means your business can grow a lot faster. And I mean, geez, you might even get on the news.
Exactly.
You might even help yourself to a post grand final slot on the Today Show.
Yeah. Even anything, God, I tried to avoid doing so much stuff, and I just remember you being up my ass, being like, just do it. The only thing you could tell me is just go out and do it. I mean, the anxiety that I suffered first starting just from like speaking to people or anything like that, God, I would have never picked that I would talk on the news or even have any kind of
100%.
confidence to do anything like that from the scared, timid little, I suppose, 20-year-old when we met to sort of where we're at now. It's just such a different experience, and I tried so much to avoid getting on the phone or avoid just trying to talk to people, avoid being out there, avoid anything that kind of made me scared. And I think the key thing that you've told me that I've always taken away from it is you have to get uncomfortable before you get comfortable again.
100%. There is a cycle there, and it's not even, probably something that's really important to touch on. It's not even just for business, like because a lot of people see business as this like super risky, kind of like something that's not, it couldn't be for them. But the same thing happens in employment, and it's really good because we'll have people listening to this who are employed who want to start a business, and we'll have business owners listening to this as well. But even if you're in employment, like if let's say you've been working at the same place for 5 years, and then the place shuts down, and you have to start a new job the next day, you're still going to feel uncomfortable. Like you don't know who you need to talk to, you don't know where you need to park, you don't know where the break room is, like you don't know any of this stuff. You're still going to feel uncomfortable. It's unavoidable to feel uncomfortable. The difference is between employment and business is that it's you have to create the environment where you get uncomfortable. It's not an environment that's created for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are more risks in business, sure, but the upsides are so much bigger as well, and so that they kind of go hand in hand. But you for anything to become normal that isn't normal to you now, you first have to get uncomfortable and experience it as it is uncomfortable. Once you do that thing over and over and over again, it becomes normal, and then you understand it, so that feeling goes away. And there's a huge amount of people that think that business is the only place that you will experience that. No, you'll experience that everywhere in life. It doesn't matter what you do, things change, the world changes, people change, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it's kind of, the other thing is that there is no real separation in my mind, at least, between business and employment in the way that just the vehicle is different. Like everyone that works a job for a reason. They want financial freedom, they want to bring in income, they want to be happy in their lives or whatever it is, and the job is a vehicle for doing that. Same as employment, and there is no. I hear a lot of people, or I have heard a lot of people say that people who just work jobs are idiots and business is the way to go, and I've heard it vice versa. But there is no one or the other. It is just what
if you love
works
what
for
you're
you.
doing as well, it's
100%. How many times have I said to you? The first time we recorded this, I said to you that if I had found that perfect job 7 years ago, where I had walked in and I loved everyone I worked with and the work was great, and I just didn't want to go anywhere else, I never would have started a business. I just never would have, because the end goal is to be happy. And if I was guaranteed happiness, I would have taken it then and there. But that environment didn't exist for me, not in the time frame that I was happy with. So I just had to go and build it for myself. So
Exactly.
that's really the only difference there. And hopefully people listening to this who are employed as well can kind of get some information from a different perspective and go, oh, cool, I can use that to better my employment or whatever it is. But yeah, there is no upside, or I'm sorry, there is an upside to everything, and there is a
There's
downside to
no
everything.
upside. Everything
There is no
sucks.
upside to anything. But no, there is no there's no one is better than the other. It's just
Yeah,
whatever suits your personal situation, and you can do the same vehicle. You can achieve financial freedom from working a job. You can achieve it from running a business. It's just how much risk and how much responsibility that you're comfortable in taking.
exactly. That risk versus reward sort of situation.
Yeah, 100%. I think we should be somewhere around 30
I
minute
was
mark
about to
now,
say
shouldn't
we're
we, Kev?
coming close to that 30-minute mark. We just hit 29 minutes.
All right, cool. So what I want to do at the end of these things, I think every session, what we should do is we should do a key takeaway each. Something that, if someone just tuned in and they listen to us just talk crap for 30 minutes and they were just like, what's the actual point here?
Why did
Or
they
what should I
speak?
take? What should I take away from this? I think that would be a cool thing at the end of every episode, just to be able to kind of shorten something down, make it short and
Yep.
sweet, and just go, look, if you were in this stage of your journey, if you were kind of just starting your business, you're 20 years old or whatever it is, what would be your key takeaway from this conversation?
The business shouldn't be hard, and it should be something fun that you should be able to do. If it's something you enjoy and it's something like it just shouldn't be difficult. And finding the right information out there is kind of going to be the main thing that you should look towards. I mean, there's so much information, and just because it's out there doesn't mean it's right for you.
Yeah, 100%. And knowing how to break up that information, like
Exactly.
so, yeah, knowing how to filter it so it's right for you is huge, and we'll probably jump into that on the next podcast as well. It's probably a huge area to start with, I think.
Yep.
But that's a good takeaway. Just don't consume information just for the sake of consuming information. There's
Absolutely.
hundreds of thousands of hours of content out there. If you listen to all of it before you do anything, you're going to be 60 years old.
Yeah.
And life's going to be done. So that's a really good takeaway. I like that one. For me, I think it would be there's no substitute for starting.
No.
Like to start something, you have to start, and you're never going to know everything about everything. So experience is key. And once you can get your hands on it and learn it and understand it, get uncomfortable and get around that and embrace the
Absolutely.
fact that it's not a bad thing to be uncomfortable. I think you'll get started a lot sooner and you'll learn a lot of lessons a lot quicker, which is the aim
Yeah.
of the game. So that would be my key takeaway there. I think for next week we'll start on something like how to filter information if you are just starting out in business or something like that. But we'll break down a bit more about ourselves and the stories that got us here and what business means to us over the next few podcasts. But this was more just an introduction, kind of let people
Get
know
to know
what they're
us.
listening to, us having a bit of fun, chin wagging about old stories now, because I guess I'm old. You're not as old. But
Old
these
man.
are the good old days. But we'll kick this off next week, and we'll break into some more of what got us here and what you kind of can expect to learn along the way.
Beautiful. Well, if you guys enjoyed
Awesome.
listening, make sure you guys leave a review, leave a comment. Let us know anything that you guys might be interested in learning within future episodes. Down below, we'll
Yes.
have all of the links to actually be a part of the Sequoia Project group.
Yep.
Be able to ask Dale questions specifically about your business. Anything else, I'll probably let you give a little bit of that there first before we end, sort of.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll just put all the links that if you wanted more information you can click on. There will be something to the group that is a new thing that we're running for the Sequoia project that's just accessible to everyone. It's low cost and easy to get into, but you can get all your questions answered. That we'll also put a link to the Sequoia project website itself, where you
Absolutely.
can kind of learn more about us personally, Coby and myself, and just read a bit more about the story and stuff like that if you want to do that. But everything that you need will be in the description below. Check that out, and I think we even have something on the website at the moment. We're doing free initial consultation, so if you just want to get on the phone to me for 10-15 minutes and have a chat and see if it's the right thing for you, we can absolutely do that as well. But otherwise I think we're set to go, and this is the first episode officially. And then we will roll into our next one coming soon.
Beautiful. We'll see you guys in the next one.
All good. Thanks, guys.